Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. My name is Jack and this is your latest Manchester United news. And do you know what? We always start this video on, we've got a lot to talk about. We actually don't have a lot to talk about tonight. And it's the same every year, to be quite honest with you. Manchester United go on pre-season tour. Stories start to die down a little bit. But we do have some things to talk about. It's not going to be as long as normal. But again, look, we'll get your inputs. Any questions you have, guys. Any comments or opinions, get him into the chat as usual, and we'll make it as interactive a show as we possibly can. But as you can see by the heading, we are looking at a potential right-back swap between Manchester United and Inter Milan. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. We're also going to talk about centre-back. Jarrad Branthwaite has been on everybody's lips at Manchester United since the start of the transfer window, and there's been some interesting developments in terms of his future at Everton, which we'll talk about. Is Ugarte's fate sealed, as you can see in the title of the video? And it's not in relation to Manchester United upping their bid or PSG lowering their bid. It's to do with external targets of PSG. So let's talk a little bit about that as well. Supposedly we're going to have an update on Scott McTominay very soon. Also, we'll talk a little bit about that. And United as well, looking to go in and maybe go for an alternative centre-back in Portugal. So we do have a bit to talk about. Not as much as we normally do. But as always, guys, please do smash a like on the video. Hit subscribe if you are new to the channel. Like I said, we're rolling towards 11,000 subscribers. Every night I'm seeing new people in the chat. So it's great to see. And like I said, if you are new, please jump into the chat, say hello, and yeah, we'll go. Keane says, another Dutch player. I'm going to knock this on the head straight away, Keane. We've signed 2 Dutch players. It's not even an argument. It's not another Dutch player. You know what I mean? We've signed 2 Dutch players. It's as simple as that. And this is Erik ten Hag's 3rd season. So let's debunk that straight away. But anyway, guys, we're going to start and we're going to talk about a Dutch player. And it's Denzel Dumfries. Manchester United defender suggested in a swap deal with Inter Milan for Denzel Dumfries. Okay, let's talk about it. Intermediaries have reportedly suggested a form of swap deal between Inter and Premier League side Manchester United involving right-backs Denzel Dumfries and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, according to Wednesday's update. According to David Ornstein of The Athletic, intermediaries have suggested a possible switch involving Dumfries and Wan-Bissaka, but there has not been any advanced talks between the two clubs. Now, look, we do know Manchester United are looking to offload Aaron Wan-Bissaka this summer. They're not going to offer him a new contract, and he will not be leaving on a free. Well, we would hope he won't leave on a free next summer. So United are looking to cash in now while they still can, and you know, reports suggesting this kind of swap deal. Look, I've made my opinions clear on swap deals before, and I think they are quite hard to do. You know, you have to, you know, both players have to agree to go in the opposite direction. Both players have to agree personal terms with, you know, the opposition. Both clubs have to agree on a fee, agents' fees. Both players want to have to sign for the other club, and that's a massive one as well. Now, when it comes to a potential swap deal between Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Denzel Dumfries, I don't think it's a bad idea for Manchester United. I really don't. And the reason I would say that is because, not that we're skint, but we don't have an unlimited pot of gold at the end of the rainbow to spend this summer, and we are looking to overturn an awful lot of areas in the squad. We're looking to get rid of a lot of players, and we're looking to get in a lot of players and strengthen a lot of positions. So I think a swap deal isn't a bad deal. You could nearly say that, you know, is Dumfries and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, are they similarly valued by their clubs? Well, look, we heard only a couple of days ago that United were potentially looking or potentially willing to take as little as 10 to 15 million for Aaron Wan-Bissaka just to get something for him before he goes on a free next year. Let me see. I want to see when Dumfries' contract is expiring. He's after signing a new deal which runs out at the end of June 2027. So he's still got 3 years left on his deal. That will mean that Manchester United, if they are looking to do a swap deal here, will probably have to give Aaron Wan-Bissaka plus cash, because you're not, although, you're taking, if you were Inter Milan, let's break this down, you're taking wages of Denzel Dumfries off your books. Now, I know you're bringing Aaron Wan-Bissaka onto your books as well, but the fact that he's got 3 years left on his contract adds value to the player. So it would more than likely be Manchester United offering player plus cash if we are to do a swap deal. Now, why are Manchester United looking to do this? Because I've heard a lot of people saying, and get your votes in on the poll as well, guys, in the chat. 20 votes so far, and it's 75-25. Aaron Wan-Bissaka versus Denzel Dumfries. Denzel Dumfries is 75% winning the battle there. I have had some people on TikTok today, when we were talking about this, say, why would we swap Aaron Wan-Bissaka for Denzel Dumfries? Very similar players in terms of actual ability. A lot of people like Dumfries, but a lot of people don't. Now, I think the main reason for Manchester United to do this, I do think we would be slightly upgrading Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Is Denzel Dumfries a better one-on-one defender than Aaron Wan-Bissaka? No, he's not. But name me a player who is. I'll wait. I think he's probably the best in the world. He's certainly up there. However, as an all-round package for a modern-day fullback, I think Dumfries is better. I really do think that. Now, I think another reason for Manchester United doing this is because you're getting Aaron Wan-Bissaka's wages off the books, which are, let me see, Wan-Bissaka wages. He's on 90 grand a week, okay, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And if we look at Denzel Dumfries, currently at the moment, he's on 61,000 euros, okay. So you're talking probably a 40,000 euro difference there in salary. Okay, and that's big. And if you can upgrade your right back position and reduce the salary of that player that you're bringing in comparison to the player going out, then I think it's a good deal for Manchester United all round. And last but not least, I think Denzel Dumfries would offer a lot more competition for Diogo Dalot at right back. Would he come in and take the number one spot? I don't know, to be quite honest with you. I haven't watched him enough. I don't know how well he would adapt to the Premier League. And Dalot has been pretty much our player of the year last year. I think 99% of Man United fans would probably say that Dalot was consistently throughout the entirety of the season was up there with the best player, probably the best player of the season. Now, I know Kobbie Mainoo done absolute bits, but that was in the second half of the season. You can't forget he was injured for the first half. So, yeah, competition is key for places. Seen a couple of pictures of Dalot doing his own individual training, and he looks absolutely shredded. He is ripped to death, so he is. So, look, a lot, and we'll go down through your comments here now as well, guys, because some people like Dumfries and some people don't. And the one thing I would say about this as well is, sometimes I've noticed that, and I'm guilty of this as well. You can think a player from the continent is better than one that we currently have, just because we don't see them week in, week out, and they're a name, and you might see them in the Champions League, and so on and so forth. It doesn't always mean they're a better player than the one that we have, Let me know what you guys think. We'll go down through your comments here and see what everybody is saying. Who we got? What are we saying? Boom. Here we go. What are we saying? Talking amongst each other. Danny says, I like Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's a good player, and on his day he's one of the best one-on-one defenders. I'd like him to stay, but he will leave. Yeah, and we've got to be realistic about this as well. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is not going to get a new contract at Manchester United for a number of different reasons. I think he's not. I think Erik ten Hag over the last 2 seasons now has landed on Dalot as his number one right back, and I think second of all, I don't think Wan-Bissaka wants to play second fiddle. I think he wants to go and play football. And that is to be commended, because there's not many players at Manchester United that will put football ahead of what they're earning. Wan-Bissaka is going to leave Man United. He's probably not going to earn what he's on currently. He's not going to get €100,000 a week if he goes back to Crystal Palace or goes to a West Ham or wherever he ends up going. He won't get that money, but he wants to play football, and that's to be commended as well. Ben says, Aaron Wan-Bissaka and cash is a robbery, in my opinion. Straight swap, I'd be happy. Daryl says, another Dutch player will soon be the Dutch national team. Daryl, we've signed 2 Dutch players. I've had this already. We've signed 2 Dutch players. I understand, but some of these things have grown legs. We've signed Malacia and we've signed Xerxes. They're the only 2 Dutch players we've signed. I understand we've gone and we've signed the likes of Martinez and Anthony and, directly from Ajax. And then there are secondary links to Ajax as well. Of course, Onana played there. Eriksson, didn't he play there, or he trained with them while he was coming back from his heart thing? So these are... I'm not overly concerned about this Dutch thing. We've spoken over the last number of weeks now, since this transfer window started, and even before it, about the process that Manchester United are doing with the structure behind the scenes with Ineos. They're no longer just going out and signing players from previous clubs. They're doing their homework, and they're signing players on merit and on ability and on, probably want to sign for United as well. So I'm not concerned about that at all. I really am not. Finn says, I feel like Aaron Wan-Bissaka could and should do more than he does. Ben says, we have about 2 Dutch players. Keane says, no way Dumfries is settling for the same money in the Prem. Is Dumfries as good as advertised? Well, look, I mean, he I don't know. Like, he's a decent right back. Is he going to get his back to winning Premier Leagues? Probably not. I would still rather stick with Delot, to be honest with you. I like Delot. I think he's trying to improve all the time. He is improving all the time. I think the defensive side of his game last year really did improve, and the attacking side of his game improved also. Look, if we bring in Dumfries, brilliant. It gives us good, strong competition there. But, are you putting a bull into a china shop and saying, look, you're not going to get a game, or bring him in for a certain amount of money, pay him a certain amount of money, and then go, well, you're back up. And again, I mean, Denzel Dumfries is what? He's 28, is he? He's in the prime of his career now. He's not going to want to come to Manchester United and be second fiddle leader. So it's going to be interesting to see. Ben says, I think Dumfries will be a better backup than Wan-Bissaka, as he can play attacking role better. Always a risk taking any player from any league. Any United player that moves to Serie A seems to go well. That's because it's a piss poor league, to be quite honest with you. At this stage, we've been linked with 5 and 6 Dutch players. But we're always linked with, countless players. We're linked with Ugarte, who's not Dutch. We were linked with Joao Neves, who's not Dutch. We were linked with Jarrad Branthwaite, who's not Dutch. We've been linked with Ignacio, who's not Dutch. We've been linked with Delict, who is Dutch. You know what I mean? So it's not all Dutch players, lads. It's not all Dutch players. It's just that link is there now. We've got a Dutch manager and 2 Dutch coaches. And of course, they have knowledge of the Dutch league. You can go all the way back to Arsene Wenger when he came into Arsenal in '96. He had knowledge on the French league that nobody else at the time did. And all of a sudden, players like Vieira, Petit, Anelka, Thierry Henry all started springing up at Arsenal, and they went on to do what they did. So, I mean, I'm not concerned about it at all. Ben says, I'd love to see us sign Diamande from Sporting. No clue if he's good, but top class for me on Football Manager. Football Manager never lies. It never lies. Finn says, did you have a bad experience in Amsterdam? I had countless, well, not countless. I had 3 or 4 really good experiences in Amsterdam. We were linked with Schneider as well. We were for I think we were linked with Schneider for about 15 years in a row. But anyway, yeah, great spot. Right, while we're on defenders, guys, I want to move it on and talk about centre-backs a little bit. Now, nothing major breaking in terms of centre-backs, but a little bit of a snippet today in relation to Jarrad Branthwaite. Now, we know how much Manchester United have been linked with him over the past few weeks, but supposedly his head has been turned by Manchester United as Everton battle to keep the defender. Okay, and that's on the back of the Mail saying that Jarrad Branthwaite has no intention of signing a new contract at Everton unless they match the £160,000 a week being offered by Manchester United. Now, pinch of salt. Okay, pinch of salt. I would be shocked if Manchester United were offering Jarrad Branthwaite 160 grand a week. Okay, absolutely shocked. Okay, but regardless of that figure there, I think the overall meaning of this story is one of positivity for Manchester United fans and negativity for Everton fans, because obviously they want to hold on to Jarrad Branthwaite, and we wouldn't mind signing him at the right price. Okay. I mean, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think the Jarrad Branthwaite debacle could run on. It really, really could. Now, if we go out in the meantime and sign, a Delict, for example, for Bayern Munich, does that mean all of a sudden that the chase for Branthwaite is over? I don't think it would be. I still think Manchester United are looking at a left-footed centre-back. Again, I go back to what we've said numerous times, that, Ten Hag likes left-footers on the left side, right-footers on the right side. We've only got Lisandro Martinez as a left-footed centre-back. I know Luke Shaw can play there, but, I would rather keep him at left-back. So, yeah, I do not see this story going away. I really don't. Unless Manchester United come out and, we see some real concrete links with another left-footed centre-back like Ignacio, for example, I don't see this story going away. I really don't. I think Jarrad Branthwaite is being heavily sought after by Manchester United. We remain vaguely interested in him at the moment because we know, and we've made it our points clear to Everton, that we're not going to come up to £70 million. Absolutely no way, and rightly so. But, I mean, there's literally, if this is to be believed that Jarrad Branthwaite is not going to sign a new contract, then one of two things, both things can happen, but first and foremost, one of two things will happen. Either Everton will be forced to lower their price on him, or he'll put in a transfer request. And if one complements the other when it comes to a Manchester United standpoint, if Jarrad Branthwaite puts in a transfer request, his price is going down. It just is, because he no longer wants to stay at the club. He's made it public that he wants to leave. Everton need to get as much money as they want in, because you don't want somebody at your club that doesn't want to be there. I'd love if a couple of Manchester United players put in transfer requests, like Maguire and Lindelof and fucking McTominay and whoever else it may be, Jadon Sancho, because it makes it a lot easier to do business with opposition clubs, So, like I said, Jarrad Branthwaite is not going away. And I'll reiterate what I said. I would love to get Jarrad Branthwaite as a Manchester United player. I think he's got a really high ceiling when it comes to, talent going forward. He's not worth 70 million. He is not worth 70 million. He's worth 40 max. Max 40. Now, if you want to throw some add-ons, performance or, performance-related add-ons into that then as well. If we win the league, you get an extra 5, or, if he reaches 100 appearances in the league, we'll give you another 5. Then okay, that's fair enough. But in terms of outright, in terms of an outright figure for him, he ain't worth 70 million right now. In the future, maybe, potential, but as it stands, he's a 35, 40 million pound player at the most, in my opinion. Get your thoughts in as well, guys. Please do smash the like button as well if you haven't done so already. Subscribe if you are new to the channel as well. Like I said, we're on the road to 11,000 subscribers, so do hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel out an awful lot. The numbers are absolutely flying up. And like I said, if you are new, please do jump into the chat and say hello and let us know you're new. Ben says, Everton in trouble, I think, with Onana gone. Yeah, and I mean, I think Everton are panicking a little bit here as well. And there is a kind of a caveat if you are an Everton fan. Now, obviously, Everton fans would know a lot more than me, but the fact that the takeover collapsed probably means that money is drying up, or that there wouldn't be as much money to spend this summer. Now, was the takeover really going to be done and dusted by the time the transfer window closed? Probably not. But I think it might have put maybe the brakes on a little bit for spending. The fact that they've sold Onana and that Branthwaite looks like he, potentially wants to leave as well is quite worrying. You would be losing two of your best players. There's been reports linking Calvert-Lewin away from the club as well. So, if that is the case, Everton, they will get money in for them players. Of course they will, but they'll have to spend it. They'll have to go out and spend that money, because if they don't, they'll get relegated next year. And we know they've been, flirting with relegation for the last 2 or 3 seasons now. So yeah, it's a busy, it's going to be a very important summer and season for them. I think we should move on from Branthwaite. He's a good player, but not worth the money. Everton want. Let's not waste any more time on him and look at other options. See, that's the thing, Danny, and I know exactly where you're coming from. And that's the way we've been brainwashed as Manchester United fans over the last decade. Let's move on and look at other options. The new Manchester United, believe it or not, can look at more than one player at a time. So we don't have to move on anymore. And it's laughable how, poorly run a football club we've been over the last decade. But any football club should be able to look at more than one player at the same time. But we weren't. We were fucking put the blinkers on and off we go. Yeah, Branthwaite. Right, you're not lowering your price. We've lost the first 2 games of the season. Okay, here's 70 million, take it. You know what I mean? It's just, the blinkers are off now. So we can do more than one deal at a time. I think it's quite smart that United retain a small bit of interest in him. And just say, look, we're not leaving the table completely, but we are going to look around. And if you don't bring your price down, we will go somewhere else, But like we said, we are coming into pre-season now, and, the tour. While it has happened, it is very rare that you see players leaving the pre-season tour because, they've signed a deal or they've got a transfer. So it's probably going to be a quiet week or 10 days. It really is the case. Now, a number of high-profile players have been left behind from the tour. No, Lisandro Martinez, Kobbie Mainoo, there's a few other, I can't remember all of the names. I think Joshua Zirkzee, was he left out as well? I think he was. A lot of the players that are left out have, the main reason is because of the European Championships. And you know what, as disappointed as you would be for players being left out of pre-season because we want to see him play, I think it's a smart idea. Last season's pre-season was far too long and far too strenuous after a really strenuous season the year before with the World Cup in the middle of it. So I think Ten Hag is quite aware of that. And we've seen, the effects of having 2 long seasons like that, okay? Last year when we had 60 injuries in one season. 60! I think it was over 60. So I think Ten Hag is happy to leave some of the big name players that have played in the Copa America or the European Championship. Like Garnacho is another one, for example, that's not going on the tour. He's happy to leave them at home, and he's happy for them to, get the extra time to recover and then get back into pre-season and do their own personal drills, and we'll all meet up together then for the start of the season, the Community Shield. Ben says, what would we have to pay for Ignacio or however it's spelled? I think there's a G in it, Ignacio. Ignacio price. Let me have a look here and we'll see. I usually, do you know what? I usually go off of sorry, there's a whole heap of different Ignacios. Gonzalo Ignacio, price tag, you're looking at about 50 million euro. Now that's, I tend to go off of, excuse me, I tend to go off of transfermarket.co.uk. Sometimes they're a little bit low, but generally they get it on the money. So you're probably talking, I mean, and if you're looking at his contract, got a few, what has he got? Has he got 2 years left on his contract? 3 years? He's got 4 years left on his contract. Yeah, he's going to be 60 million minimum. 60 million minimum you'd be looking at for him. Fantastic footballer, however. And yeah, I don't know if he, like, he's, what is he? I think he's 22 years of age. See, there's a dilemma here. Okay, there's a dilemma. Do you want to go out and sign somebody like Ignacio, who expects to start every game, while you've already got Lisandro Martinez, who's also going to expect to start every game? Now, I understand you can rotate and rest players, but if you've got 4 top-class centre-backs who all want to play every minute of every game, you're going to have a couple of unhappy ones. And even before you get to that situation, you're looking, Ignacio is going to go, well, okay, United want me. You speak to United and you go, or you get your agent speak to United and you go, well, who am I going to play ahead of? Am I going to play ahead of Lisandro Martinez? Am I going to play ahead of Lenny Yoro, De Ligt? I'm definitely going to play ahead of Maguire and Lindelof. So yeah, and that's what we need. That's what we need to figure out between now and the end of the transfer window. The stadium is burning a hole in their pockets. They'll drop the price yet, says Finn. That's probably in relation to Everton, I'd say. 50 is steep, don't you think? Says Ben. Well, I don't think so, Ben. When you talk about the, how good of a defender he is, I understand it's the Portuguese league, but he's got 4 years left on his contract. When you've got 4 years left on your contract, it's big money. It's big money. Chris is in. Good to see you, Chris. Finn says, that's where the likes of Harry and Victor are needed. Just happy to be there. Yes. However, I do also like to have quality coming off the bench, because what happens if we go into the season? Let's say we sign Yoro and De Ligt. Okay, let's say 2 centre backs get injured. Let's say Martinez picks up another injury, which I hope he doesn't, and De Ligt picks up an injury. Okay, then you're left with an 18-year-old in Yoro alongside Harry Maguire. I'd rather have Ignacio there or Branthwaite, to be honest with you. So, yeah, let's see what happens. Chris, who is a big fan, I know that, says, bring Dumfries, good defender and great going forward. Ben says, we are looking at around 60 games this season if we have a good run in a few competitions. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's quite feasible that, if you've got 4 good centre-backs there, they could all play 40 games in a season. You know what I mean? Now, that doesn't mean we're playing 160 games, dickheads. It just means that you are able to rest and substitute players off and bring players on and so on and so forth. Ignacio can play at left back as well. De Ligt, not going to happen till the end of the window. Ignacio, please. Well, look. Lenny Yoro is in, okay? And Lenny Yoro will start if we don't sign another centre-back. I'm convinced of that. And Lisandro Martinez will start at left centre-back as well. He played in the Copa America, won it, played well when he played, scored as well. And, he's going to come back and he's going to be fit. He's going to be raring to go given the injuries he had last season. So I'm okay with them 2 players starting centre-backs, for the start of the season. I'm okay with that. But we need to build on it. We need to be able to recruit before the transfer window is over. Doesn't mean we have to. I mean, getting a couple of players in, getting your striker, getting your centre back, and I would like one central midfielder before the season starts as well. Getting them in is vital, okay? Because now you've got players that can go straight into the team and that can start and automatically improve us, okay? And it does take a little bit of the pressure off for you, you know, to go on towards the end of the transfer window negotiating for other players to add that depth to your squad. You know what I mean? Ben says Joao has to start. Chris says we need a rotation of centre back and left back. Well, like I said, I mean, the more players that can play in the more positions, you know, the easier it makes things for the manager, for the club, for everybody. You know, John O'Shea. You know, a team of John O'Shea's. You know, if he was not making Figo every week, yes, brilliant. But you know what I mean. Phil Neville's players that can play in multiple positions. It never hurts a squad. Now these players tend to be squad players because they don't nail down a specific position, but they're all very reliable when it comes to, you know, getting them on the pitch and doing a job for you. Can't depend solely on Martinez and Euro. Too much risk. 18 and Butcher gets nicked every season. Yeah, every season, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, the intensity levels that he plays the game at are on another level. So now I want to talk really quick, guys, before we finish up. Like I said, it's going to be a quicker show tonight. I want to talk about Manuel Ugarte and is his fate sealed, as you can see in the title of the video. And it has nothing got to do with Manchester United putting in another bid. It has nothing got to do with PSG lowering the price of their bid. It has to do with this man, Joao Neves. Now, he's not coming to United. I wish he was. But according to Fabrizio Romano, Paris Saint-Germain are closing in on Joao Neves' deal. New positive round of talks again today. PSG want to get it sealed next week. Details of a package being discussed after €70 million fee, plus players to include for Benfica like Renato Sanchez. Here we go, expected soon. The trickle-down effect when it comes to transfers in the summer. I'm sure PSG... Now, it doesn't guarantee that PSG will lower their price, but they will be looking to recoup some of the money that they paid for Joao Neves, because, by God, they're paying money for him. You know, he is up there with one of the most expensive signings. I think he probably will be the most expensive signing this summer, unless somebody like Victor Osimhen goes for more. I think this guy will go for, he'll be up there. When you're adding like players on and so forth, you're talking 100 million plus. And will that have a trickle down effect for PSG, maybe to soften their stance a little bit on Ugarte to Manchester United? I do still think we will get Ugarte done. I would like to see somewhere in the region of maybe 40, 45 million. And the usual, if you want to throw a few bob on top in terms of add-ons, 5, 10 million, brilliant. I'm all for that as well. And I think it's good business. And then you talk about the trickle-down effect. Then we can go to Casemiro. Look, boss, he's here. We don't need you anymore. You know, go and find a club. You know, go to Saudi Arabia, stir up some interest. Or, you know, even at least you would move on someone like Scott McTominay to Fulham, for example, who, by the way, while we're on the subject, look like they're going to come in for a improved bid for Scott McTominay, which is a good segue. West Ham's 30 million bid last year was rejected. Last week, it was reported that Fulham had placed an initial 17 million bid, which was promptly rejected by Manchester United. Yeah, it just goes to show. West Ham offered 30 million last year for Scott McTominay, and it was rejected, okay? This year, Scott McTominay had the best season he's ever had as a Manchester United player, and Fulham come in and slap 17 million in our face like a wet fish. You know, get out of town. Absolutely no way. Fulham are going to have to at least double their initial bid, or I don't think Manchester United will be accepting. Now, again, we go back to what we've said about Ugarte and Joao Neves here. The fact that Neves is going to PSG, does that soften the stance of PSG in terms of the price of Ugarte? Similarly, we could look at Scott McTominay. If we do get Ugarte over the line, do we soften our stance on Scott McTominay and go, okay, look, we'll take 30 million for him? You know, offer is the same that was offered last year, even though he's had a better season in between, we'll take it. And then, you know, net, you're talking, if you got Ugarte for 45 million, you're talking a net spend of 15 million to get Scott McTominay out and Ugarte in, and that is good business. That's good business, guys. That is absolutely good business. Right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I do appreciate everybody watching. If you haven't already done so, please do smash a like on the video. We'll end the poll as well. Interesting stats on the poll. Aaron Wan-Bissaka or Denzel Dumfries. 72% are saying Dumfries and 27% are saying Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But I do appreciate everybody watching, guys. If you are new, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 11,000 subscribers. Hit the like button as well. It helps us out an awful lot. Anyone wants to become an official channel member as well, guys, please check out the link in the description of the video. You get to come on the match reaction videos with us and give your opinion live after every game this season. And I've got the first Manchester United quiz, the early years is the topic. The big Manchester United quiz, episode 1, the early years. I have it completed, and we will be doing it in or around the first week of the season. So maybe 2.5, 3 weeks time, we will be doing that. And it's for channel members only. So click the link in the description if you want to get that extra content, and make sure you're going to be involved in the live with us. Some really, really good questions. Great book for anybody who wants to get it. I got it in my local library. I'm only renting it. The Ultimate Manchester United Quiz Book. 1,400 questions. And yeah, I mean, it's really, really good. Which academy striker scored twice against Hull City in our final home game of the season in the 2013-2014 season? You know what I mean? There's thousands, hundreds, thousands of questions in it. It's really, really good. So yeah, I've got quiz number 1 done. The slideshow is ready to go. We'll be doing it in the next couple of weeks. And we're
people how to win.
What?
We just taught people how to win.
I didn't tell people how to win. How did I tell people how to win?
Give them the name of where the answers are going to be.
There's 1,400 questions in that book. Do you think if I ask a question and give them 20 seconds to answer, they're going to be able to find it in the middle of 1,400?
Someone might get the book and then they might learn.
Go away, will ya? Jesus Christ, you're thinking too much into this. Anyway, I'll ask you a question, Anna. We'll see how you get on, how quickly you can find the answer. Go on. There you go. What year was Manchester United founded?
I'll have a look here now and see.
You got 20 seconds. Boys, where's the answer? She's coming in here now lecturing me, telling me I'm giving... There you go now. Beep, 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 time up. Yeah, you get it wrong. You get... Of course the answers are at the back.
Yes, then now I'll be able to say 1878.
Yeah, there you go. Too late. You were over. Yeah, you were over time. Fuck off. Yeah, start your own YouTube channel. Go on, off you go. Lads, thanks for watching. I'll be back again tomorrow night, as always. Bernie's community channel here. Yeah, go on, Bernie Mac. I'll be back tomorrow night, guys, from 9 o'clock, as always. That was a weird ending to a video. Probably the weirdest one I'll ever have. But thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the like button. And I'll chat to you tomorrow night. Take it easy.